Hey guys, Summit here. Thought that I would put together a weird video of all the spooky experiences that I've had over the years at my mom and dad's house. Hopefully you guys like it. And without further ado, let's get spooky. At my mom's place, whenever I lived there in her apartment complex, it was a townhome. So, whenever we first moved in, there was a little eerie feel to it, but we didn't really pay any attention. Only because, it was a new place. We were just happened to be out of the other apartment that we just moved out of. So, what had happened was, I had my friend come over within 2 weeks of us moving there. Her name was Brooke. Brooke was in my room and we were getting ready and we were doing our makeup. I think we were gonna go see a movie or something, probably go to the mall, one of the two. So we're getting ready and she just stops and she looks out into the hallway. And in the hallway, there's the hall closet, of course, but it's a townhome, so it's a huge hallway. And if you keep walking over in this direction, you'll run into the bathroom. It's a part of everything, and then my mom's bathroom into the master, basically. But it's all connected. So there's 3 doors, one leading into the bathroom, one to shut the door, and then another section that leads into my mom's master bedroom. So what had essentially happened though is that she stopped and she looks and she's like, hey, there was a man that just walked over there. And I was like, what? Over there. And I was like, what? And I distinctively just remember her dropping everything and just kind of staring off into the distance over there. And I was like, alright, what are you talking about? She's like, I just saw this half of someone's shirt, just the shirt and then the arm and then going up part of the neck, but it was walking this way, away from us. So I didn't see it. And I was like, oh, okay, so we have ghosts, cool, whatever. I am not unfamiliar with the paranormal at this point. That's probably gonna be in another story time, but at this point it didn't bother me at all. I was like, oh, okay, because honestly, whenever we first moved in, I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, this place is probably haunted. Don't know why I thought that, but it turned out to be true. So, moving on to, the next segment of, the same house would basically be, my mom had a boyfriend over, and he was downstairs. He's, this taller man with a very deep voice. So I'm basically sitting there and I'm in my room, and for some reason, I don't know why, I got this chill, and I was just I literally said, are there any demons here? And I kid you not, my light flickered and I was just okay, so we're gonna do the 1 flicker for yes and 2 flicker for no. And for some reason in my head, I just knew that that's what that was. So whenever that happened, I was just kind of confused, and I kind of just brushed it off. I was like, alright, that's weird. And I didn't say anything else right next to my room. So when I heard that, whenever I heard this man shout up the stairs, I stopped, and I just stopped, and I was like, what? And he just yelled, no. Just this really loud, just, no. And I was like, oh, no what? And I know that I had just asked that question, and I don't know if that was to deter, oh, there's no demons, I don't know what you're talking about. But now looking back on it, I think that's honestly what it was. was it being like, oh, there's nothing here, I'm not demonic or anything like that. So keeping that in mind, I go downstairs and I'm like, did you just shout up the stairs? No. And lo and behold, Dan's not even in the house. That was her boyfriend's name, Dan. He's not even in the house. He's outside on the back patio, I think, like cooking or something like that on one of the little grills that we had. And on top of that, my sister wasn't home either. So the next little segment that happened was basically, I remember sitting on my bed listening to music, and I just remember hearing footsteps, like outside, on that little, like, almost like coming up the stairs, but coming from my mother's room. And I was just like, that's weird. Like, what is that? Because I know that my mom and my sister are downstairs. They're not upstairs. And if that were the case, then my mom would be in her room with her TV on and her light on, and that was just not the case. Same thing with my sister, but I think my sister was over at my dad's house. So yeah, my sister was at my dad's house, so she wasn't even home. And basically, I just hear footsteps. And then the footsteps go 1, 2, 3, stop, and then I just hear in the hallway. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I just remember looking, and I don't see anything. There's nothing there. But I heard footsteps and those breathing. Now this thing has my full attention now. Then I hear more footsteps, but 1, 2, 3. Again. And it's coming into my room now. And then it goes 1, 2, 3. And at this point, it just sounds like a man, and he sounds depressed, and he sounds drained, and it's just sad. Like, but that's obviously, like, it was scaring me. And I was just like, can you not? And I said that out loud. I was just like, can you not? Like, go away. Got closer. And then there was a point to where I was just like, alright, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I don't know why I didn't leave my room. Apparently that wasn't a thing that I thought to do. Leaving my room, which probably would have been the better option. And, yeah, that just didn't happen. And I just walked over to my light and I go to turn it off, because it's one of those lamps where you have to turn the back of it off to turn it off, and then you have to go up to it and turn the back on to turn it back on, obviously. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'll have to play that back. If you can, I'll leave this in, but it's like doing something really weird with the light right now. And I don't understand. I don't know if it's this light or if it's this light on here, but it just did. So basically, I turn off the light and I go back to my bed and I go to lay down. So, real quick, my bed has like a trundle bed underneath. So it has like a wood framing to it, and it's super heavy. So whenever I first got my bed and moved it into my room, I couldn't push it all the way back against the wall by myself. So I had to have help. Well, I never got that help, so it stayed off the wall. This is important to keep in mind. I go to lay down, and he is getting closer to me at this point. And I can hear him breathing behind me and like follow me over to my bed. So I'm laying down, I'm just chilling, and he gets closer. So then it starts scaring me. So then I slowly uncover it. And then all of a sudden, I just hear really loud in my ear. Then I realize that the spirit went in between the bed and the wall that was separated, bent down right next to my ear, and did that. So it's intelligent, it's replying, and it made the light flicker. So after that, I didn't hear or see him. And I mean, I could never see him. Let's put it this way. I could never see him. I couldn't really feel him anyway, to be honest with you. It was just kind of like a thing like, oh, you're here now, because he'd make a noise or he'd bang on the wall. Anyway, moving on. So I kind of get used to him being in the house, and I'm like, alright, fine. Like, I guess if you're gonna be here, then you can stay. And that was my mistake. I was just like, you can stay, but like, leave me alone. So then, fast forward, we move out of this apartment and into the next one. And this time my mom moves into a house. Okay. For some reason now, in my head, I was just like, why don't you tell the one ghost that's here all by himself that he could come with? Why I did this, I have no idea. I know I'm going to get read to filth in the comment section. Like, why would you, be okay with that? I don't know. I thought that it'd be okay. So what had happened is he followed. Obviously, because I told him it was okay, and I was just like, yeah, just attach yourself to something in the house and we'll just take you with us. So they're currently moving stuff in, my mom and her friend, and I'm in my room and I look up at the doorway and there's like an outline of this man just standing there, just being really weird. And the only reason why I saw him is because he went from, like, he shifted his weight from one foot to the other and like went like this. And that's the only reason why I could see him whenever he went like this. And I was like, what? And then I remembered, oh, it's you. Like, okay, cool. Like, I thought you were someone else. So Tina's upstairs in her room, watching Ghost Adventures, and I believe I'm in mine. And we're both like, oh, are you watching the show too? Da 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 da, whatever. So I go downstairs, and I get water, and I fill it up, and we have like those plastic cups that you can buy that are disposable, the red disposable cups that you use for like birthday parties and stuff. So I grab one of those and I put it in the water thing, and I get ice and all that. I'm drinking my water and there's nobody downstairs, and I'm kind of just chilling, and then I hear like this weird noise, like it's a ticking noise, and I'm like, what is that? So I put my drink down on the table, and I walk over to where the ticking noise is, and I was like, what is this? So then, like, out of the corner of my eye, I hear tapping. So it's coming in threes, and it's just, I can hear it tapping, like it's almost like a finger or a fingernail just tap 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 tap. And I was just like, what are you? And then this thing, whatever it is, proceeds to move my drink, sliding it across the table. This was literally slowly sliding towards me on our dining room table. And I was just like, okay, thanks, time to go. And I just went upstairs. And Tina, I think, had just gone to bed. I hear this weird noise. I don't even know how to explain it. But I'm just laying there in bed, and I finally go to turn over to lay down, or like try and go to sleep. And I just feel breathing, like on this side of my neck, because I lay on this side. And I can hear it, and it's very faint. And then this is gonna sound freaking crazy. So I'm laying down, obviously, and then let's say that this is like the side of my face. This thing takes its face and starts to rub it like a cat on the side. Well, doing that. but consistently. And I was just like, what the hell is that? And it was just weird. So that, like, continued until I was 2, like, and it would keep me awake, basically. And then it just abruptly stopped, and then would leave me alone. And this happened every night, by the way. Not even like, oh, okay, like, tonight I'm safe. Like, no. This was every night. And it got to the point where I tried to tell my dad, and my dad's like, that doesn't exist, I don't even want to hear about it, da-da-da-da-da. There's nothing. It's nothing. You know, like, because I guarantee he was scared too, to hear that, to want to listen to it. He just didn't want to hear it. Then I started going back over to my mom's, and I noticed that and I figured, this is what I figured, whenever I was at my mom's it wouldn't happen. And I thought that it was because of the male spirit that was there. And I was just like, maybe he's a protector. You know, like that was my initial thought. And I mean, I know now that is not the case. That has never been the case with this entity or whatever he was. I go over to my dad's. I'd literally be like, hey D, like, come here. And it was so weird because I had like this weird connection with him where I could literally say, like, in my head and be like, hey, I'm scared, like, can you come here? And then I'd feel him around me, and it was like a protection thing. And this thing would not get near me if he was there. Anyway, I had one of my friends over, and she told me, she's like, so you have a very dark looking entity here. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, what do you call him? And I was just like, I don't know. She's like, well, he's dark. Like, he's gray, black, and that's like swirling black mist energy thing, with like glowing red eyes. And I was like, what? There's no way. Like, what are you talking about? Needless to say, like, I got like really angry at her. And I think it was because of him, now that I look back on it. Like, I got mad because of him, at her. And I was just like, no, you're wrong. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's a protector. Like, he's looking out for me. And she's like, okay, if that's what you believe, then I'm gonna let you know that that's not the case, but alright. And needless to say, we just stopped talking. By disrespecting him, she was also disrespecting me, and I didn't want him to feel like I wanted him out. Okay, so I had another friend over, and she could see him. She's like, oh, he's just gray. He's just gray. He seems to like that one room. And by the one room, it was Megan's room. Megan didn't want to sleep in there anymore because she watched Paranormal Activity once, and that was the end of that. And I was like, Megan's my sister. And I was just like, great, so you don't even want to sleep in your room? She's like, nope. So I guess he preoccupied that room whenever she stopped sleeping in there. My other friend was just like, yeah, he sleeps in there. He sleeps on her bed and everything. She's like, no, he sleeps right there. So she's like, well, he doesn't want to be called anything else. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he likes D. And I was like, D? Like, just D? Is that it? She's like, yeah, you can try, making up names, but that's all he wants to be called. And I was like, alright. So from then on, we just called him D. So, I had another friend over at my mom's house. And she and I had gone and gotten, like, drinks, like, at the local gas station down our street. And we came back and we got Venoms, like the old-fashioned, like, twist-off Venom drinks. We had already opened them up, by the way. Key information. And I could feel him in the corner of the room just sitting there staring, like, watching, which is super weird now that I think about it, but as a kid I was just like, oh, that's cool, I have a protector, he just shows. Protectors don't do that. They only come whenever they're needed, and then they leave when they need to, not stay around 24/7, kind of like looming over you, watching your every move. So we're just sitting there, and chilling out, and then all of a sudden, we both at the same time pick up our drinks and go to open it. Now remember, I already told you that we opened them. D gets really close to us. Like, deathly close. And as soon as we go to open them, he goes, but like, almost like a roar, but with breath. And her and I just froze. And I start laughing because I think it's hilarious. Her, on the other hand, she's absolutely terrified. She's like, is that him? And I was like, yeah, chill, just trying to scare you, he's an asshole sometimes. And she's like, I don't like that at all, I want to leave. And I was just like, no, it's fine, like, and I convinced her to stay, and we didn't have any problems after that. I was back over at my dad's house, and in the middle of the night, I got woken up. Didn't have to use the bathroom. It was almost like something was like watching me. And I kind of like woke up and looked around the room, and I was just like, hello. Like, is anybody there? And next thing I hear is D running into my table. There's a very small space between my dresser and my computer desk. He was in between there, and I guess, like, didn't realize the distance between the two, and I hear him run to the table and go, huh! And I was like, you good? Like, you okay? And obviously there was no response back, and I was just like, okay, like, be careful, like, what are you doing? So then, basically, like, all of this other stuff started to happen, and pretty fast. And it, like, that other thing, by the way, that it was at my dad's, it slowly stopped what it was doing, but not 100%. Like, there were some nights, like, is it gonna happen tonight? You know, like, just anticipating when it was going to come in and fuck with shit, basically. Which was, like, really, really annoying. I was at my mom's, and I had a friend stay the night. This friend was, let me think. She normally sleeps, like, on the couch, but tonight she just wanted to share the bed with me, so I was like, alright, whatever. So we're laying there, and she tells me, like, in the morning, she's like, so, I thought that you stopped breathing last night, so I went to shake you awake, and I looked back at the doorway for a split second for whatever reason, and there was a man standing there, watching us. Like, I don't see him, but everyone else does, which was super, super weird. So I was just kind of sitting there, and I decided to make, really, my usual go-to for at my mom's house is ramen and cranberry juice and Ghost Adventures. So, I go into the back room and I start the TV show. And I'm at the stove cooking my ramen. So I'm standing in the doorway and I'm sipping on my cranberry juice, watching the noodles boil. And I don't know how to explain this, but I'm gonna do this the best that I can. So this is honestly like one of the most creepy experiences and like terrifying that I've ever had. Standing in the doorway and I feel heat. Like, not from the stove heat, but from, like, just heat, like, behind me. So, I'm wearing these really short shorts, and then, all of a sudden, I feel, like, at first it was just a little bit of heat, like I explained, behind me, but then it's like, someone has a fire and it's directly behind me, and I can feel all of the heat, but it doesn't burn. It just is like uncomfortable, like someone literally has like a fire and I'm standing directly behind it. And then I feel heat on my left butt cheek, and I'm just like, oh, that's what? What is that? And then I feel like, and I kid you not, it starts at like the top. Okay, so rest of my leg, okay, butt cheek, and then like the top, like just before my butt cheek, and my lower back, butt cheek, rest of my leg, okay? This heat starts right here and doesn't end until right underneath my left butt cheek. And I was just like, am I being groped? Like, that was my initial thought. I was like, something is grabbing my ass. So then, I kid you not, I don't know if you've ever seen the sharp nails that people get, like the talons almost, kind of like just sharp as ever, not dulled, not ovaled, but like my left butt cheek, and I can feel the thumb land first, then this finger, this finger, this finger, and then my pinky, and it's all curved, and I can feel it, not sticking to my skin. There was no blood, but it was hard enough to where it could have broke skin if it really wanted to. Picture in your head the biggest hand that you've ever seen on a man, okay? And then times it and extend the fingers about this long. In my head, that's what I got. And I just feel the tips of the claws into my leg, basically. And then I just hear like this deep guttural and I was like, no. And I deadass, I turned around and I was just like, did I give you fucking permission to touch me? And then it immediately went away. And I was just like, that's what I thought. Leave me alone. Never had that experience ever again, but that was like the weirdest experience that I've ever had. Like, one of them. Alright guys, this video is already 42 minutes long on this, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit, and hopefully I can have this up by tonight. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and then maybe depending on if you guys like this kind of stuff, I'm probably gonna post more, or I'll just end up posting more regardless. One of the two, it just depends. But just let me know what you guys think. Maybe I should do more like this. I also do makeup too, but I'll probably hold off on that and just stick with these for right now. Because we're in quarantine right now. And I have nothing to do for the next 2 weeks. So, I have nothing to do for the next 2 weeks, so there's that. That's all I got. That's all I got for you guys. Alright, peace.